Now on Coast TV News.
New safety features coming to Coastal Highway in Ocean City, how it could make life less stressful for those on 2 feet.
Some beaches open, some beaches closed, and we still don't know where the hazardous medical waste is coming.
Move over or get fined. A new bill increasing the penalty for holding up emergency responders.
And leave those crabs alone.
Leave those crabs alone. A newly designated sanctuary will protect horseshoe crab on Delmarva.
And coming up, will the wicked waves continue to pound the beach, causing erosion? We'll have the latest for the forecast coming up.
This is Coast TV News at 11.
Crossing Coastal Highway in Ocean City will be a lot easier soon. The state of Maryland looking to make upgrades. Good evening, I'm Charlie Sakaitis.
And I'm Christina DeRobertis. Thanks for joining us here for Coast TV News at 11. We begin tonight in Ocean City, where safety is the focus.
New in Maryland, Ocean City is looking to update some of their infrastructure to make roads safer for pedestrians. As
Coast TV News reporter Brendan Conroy shows us, people are happy about the addition of some new safety features.
More safety features on the road, more safety for the people.
Wait.
That's what Ocean City is looking to do in the upcoming months. According to the State Highway Administration, there have been 298 accidents on Coastal Highway in the past decade. These accidents have resulted in 303 injuries and tragically 7 deaths. Jennifer Fimiani has lived in Ocean City for 15 years and says the state needs to step in.
I think they have to do something. I mean, there is liability here in the reality, and the police can only do so much. So at some point, we have to make it safe for both the people that live here and the visitors, or else it'll get a reputation for not being safe.
Keith Jakowski visits Ocean City a lot. He says it's on the people to be more responsible.
You can't be reckless. You know, cross where you're supposed to at the intersections, especially here. You know, if you're in a little town, it's a little different. But even then, you shouldn't be running, and crossing in between vehicles and stuff, because they can't see you.
With safety at a premium in a busy place like Ocean City, extra precautions for the roads could make a difference whether you're in the crosswalk or behind the wheel.
Right here is a prime spot on Coastal Highway in Ocean City for both cars and pedestrians to walk by. We have some safety features behind me, like the fences and the crosswalk buttons, but they're looking to add even more. While talks aren't expected to ramp up until 2025, the State Highway Administration is super eager to get the ball rolling. In Ocean City, Brendan Conroy, Coast TV News.
Some beaches like Lewis and Dewey are still closed because of concerns that medical waste is still washing up. And at this time, all of the agencies working on this case say they're still looking into the source of this hazardous material and had no updates for Coast TV today. On your screen now is Bethany Beach. People were just enjoying the sun there today, and people Coast TV spoke with say someone needs to be held accountable for this medical waste.
This washing up, it could definitely harm people, and if people get stuck, they could go to the hospital, something bad could happen to them, and I definitely think that we should seek out what happened and who dumped this waste offshore, and they should be held responsible, I think.
A DENREC swimming advisory is in place until at least Monday.
And this brings us to our Coast TV poll. We want to know, what should the consequences be for this medical waste source? Let's take a look at the results.
Well, so far, 89% of you saying criminal charges. Some people think fines, only 1% saying stricter regulations might help, and shut down operations.
Now, if you haven't voted yet, and this one seems pretty definitive, you can still do that at coasttvnews.com or use the Coast TV mobile app.
Let's take a live look outside now into Milford from our Bay Health camera, and our First Alert Chief Meteorologist Paul Williams joins us now with a look at the weather. Good evening, Paul.
Good evening, Christina. And overall, we're still dealing with somewhat of the churning of the waters that's happening right off the coast. And that brings about another concern when you take into the fact that we're not sure if all that medical waste is that done deal so far, to seeing if even more will wash up on shore. But in our Irish Eyes camera, actually in Lewis, that's not the case for us right now. And this particular view of the water, 69 degrees with winds out of the north and staying calm. We'll drop to 65 with mostly clear skies by 3 o'clock. Here's the latest latest look on our waves expectation. By 7:30 Friday, we could see up to about 8-foot waves right here near Ocean Pines going up towards Bethany Beach and stay pretty active between 8 and even 10 feet. Now up towards Lewis, not so much, about 4 to 8 feet, but we're looking at higher waves between Dewey Beach and Bottom Hills by 9:30 on Friday. Now coming up, we'll talk more about our expectations for the next round of rain and whether these waves are going to finally calm down. Charlie?
Thank you, Paul. New at 11, a battle in Dewey Beach over the sound of music, or at least the volume of it. New rules could allow town employees to keep tabs on the noise, but some argue it's a solution to a problem that isn't really much of a problem. Reporter Tim Furlong from our sister station, NBC 10, has details.
On this gray post-Labor Day weekday, the noise in Dewey Beach, it's mostly just from cars, wind, and the waves out on the ocean. And some full-time residents tell me even in midsummer, the noise in general isn't that bad, even relatively close to Dewey's most popular bars like the Starboard and the Bottle and Cork.
Literally, I will have my windows open, and I am 1 block from one bar and 1 block from another bar, and it doesn't keep me awake. It's not super loud. I bet you if you run a noise meter over, it wouldn't register. The only place a noise meter is going to register is right in front of the bar.
How much money do you guys make a year on these fines?
We don't make, we've had no fines.
In the history of it? Dewey Commissioner Paul Bauer says as far as he knows, since the noise ordinance was first enacted in 2007, the town hasn't issued any fines. Usually asking the source of the noise to lower it has done the trick.
So this is 78, 80, 74.
But he says a couple of the town's 400 or so full-time residents have now complained, so the town leaders will now vote Friday if they're going to let more town employees enforce decibel violations and maybe even reset the nighttime legal decibel limits.
Yeah, we can have more people do the check on it, but the problem is how do we get something that would legally hold up in court?
Is it even worth the fight? Unless your family's been coming here for generations and handed down a house to you, you probably bought here knowing about the Dewey way of life, which basically means, especially in summer, it's a very young town, lots of outdoor seating at restaurants and bars, lots of live music, and yeah, it can get pretty loud.
It's like living next to the airport in Philly. I mean, those planes are very noisy.
Paul says the goal is to find a compromise that will please residents who want it a little quieter without making life harder for Dewey Beach businesses, who he says are generally good, respectful neighbors. He promises commissioners will take a good hard look and do their best to get it right for everyone.
We live in a world, sometimes people want you to write more laws, and hey, we're beach time. We're trying to relax and enjoy our lives. So,
in Dewey Beach, Tim Furlong for CoastTV News.
Thanks to Tim Furlong for that story tonight. Drivers in Delaware who do not move over for cars on the side of the road will now have to pay a hefty price. Governor Carney signed a bill today increasing the penalties for not moving over or slowing down. State officials say the fines range from $250 to $1,000, and striking a first responder on the scene is now a Class F felony. Representative Jeff Hilofsky sponsored the bill. He says he hopes it spreads awareness and saves lives.
The carrot is, here's, now that you know the rules, don't violate the rules, and when you have the violation, it's serious enough because we value human life that you're going to pay the consequences.
And Representative Hilofsky also says the new law will now be taught in driving courses across Delaware.
The harvesting of horseshoe crab is no longer allowed on one community beach along Delaware Bay. Big Stone Beach is now a designated sanctuary through the Ecological Research and Development Group's Backyard Stewardship Program. The program relies on community involvement, and local advocates rallied their neighbors to support the ban. A spokesperson tells us the research group had Big Stone Beach on its radar for a long time.
We're very proud of it because it's a really cool little community that has an awful lot of pristine spawning beaches, and it's nice to know that these people here are going to be stewards of that resource.
Big Stone Beach joins 10 other community-led horseshoe crab sanctuaries along Delaware's coast.
We have an update tonight. Delaware State Police have now identified the victim in a deadly single-vehicle accident that happened on Tuesday. 14-year-old Gabrielle Whitley of Felton was killed in that accident. According to police, around 2:02 a.m., a Ford F-150 was headed west on Spectrum Farms Road when the truck failed to negotiate a curve, drove off the road, flipped over and in the process ejected Whitley from the vehicle. She was pronounced dead at the scene. Another passenger, a 19-year-old from Felton, was taken to the hospital with non-life-threatening injuries. An unidentified man left the scene before troopers got there. The driver has not been identified and the investigation is ongoing. Well, new polls show the race for the White House is still extraordinarily close, sending both presidential nominees scrambling for persuadable voters.
Vice President Harris traveled to Michigan tonight to team up with Oprah for a live streaming event,
while former President Trump was in Washington for an event on fighting anti-Semitism. NBC's Alice Barr has the details.
Today, a big batch of new polling putting the proof to just how close this presidential race is. The overall picture showing Vice President Harris looking slightly stronger after last week's debate. But the national and battleground results are all within the margin of error, raising the stakes on chasing down every undecided voter. Vice President Harris bringing in the star power for a campaign event tonight with Oprah Winfrey.
We are all together, united for one cause, and that is to get out the vote for Kamala Harris.
Tonight's streaming event bringing together online groups like White Dudes for Harris, Cat Ladies for Kamala, and Win with Black Women.
We have so much more in common than what separates us. Ultimately, the question before us is what kind of country do we want to live in?
The vice president targeting key voting blocs says she lost out on a big labor endorsement. The powerful Teamsters union that typically backs Democrats choosing not to endorse either candidate for the first time in nearly 30 years. An internal poll showed rank and file members supporting former President Trump.
It's a great honor. They're not going to endorse the Democrats. That's a big thing.
The Harris campaign saying, quote, Teamsters locals across the country have already endorsed her alongside the overwhelming majority of organized labor. Former President Trump tonight courting Jewish voters at an event on fighting anti-Semitism in the nation's capital.
We're going to take back our country, and we're going to make Israel great again, and we're going to make America great again.
As both nominees race for every vote. In Washington, Alice Barr, NBC News.
We're just getting started this evening.
Still to come, America's healthcare doesn't make the grade where we rank, and here's a hint, it's not at the top.
But first, a final resting place for those who served, getting the treatment our heroes deserve. We'll show you more on this in this week's Coastal Connections.
And typically we would have the Bay forecast, but right now we have a coastal flood watch that we're going to need to pass that along information to you, along with concerns for gusty winds. Your full forecast coming up in just 60 seconds.
There's DNA. Then there's heavy-duty DNA. HDNA. It's engineered into every aspect of the GMC Sierra HD, with the pulling power to prove it. Tow hitches of the world, prepare for glory. Get 5.9% APR for 84 months on Sierra heavy-duty Denali models. That's over $5,300 in average finance savings.
When you're close to the land and the sea, you can taste the goodness. The historic Lewis Farmers Market brings farms closer to tables. Meet the growers, talk to the people that milk the cows, and pick the perfect peaches. Organically grown fruits and vegetables, sustainable meats and eggs, A2 dairy products, artisan breads, and fresh local seafood.
The historic Lewis Farmers Market is in the park every Saturday from 8 to noon and at Crooked Hammock Brewery every Wednesday from 8 to 11:30 a.m.
Veterans all over the country risk and sometimes give their lives in an effort to keep us safe. CoastTV News reporter Kevin Zappe shows us an initiative called Saluting Branches, which gives back to them one last time.
The Delaware Veterans Memorial Cemetery in Millsboro is the final resting place for those who served and lived in Sussex County. But sometimes these cemeteries become overgrown by plants or limited with dead trees. Multiple landscaping and tree care companies are teaming up to ensure that doesn't happen.
I mean, for us and my staff, you know, we appreciate the fact that we can do what we do because they did what they did. And that's really what it comes down to, a way to give back to those families and those memories.
The effort is called Saluting Branches, and it's nationwide, with volunteers cleaning up 100 different veteran-related areas like medical centers, group homes, and cemeteries. Toby Schlick says this means the world to him.
I am a veteran, and my family were all retired Marines, and so they're all buried in veteran cemeteries, so to me it means a lot.
40 volunteers spent their day in Millsboro at the Veterans Cemetery, something volunteers say is the least they could do to say thanks to those who gave so much. This is Saluting Branch's 10th year cleaning up veteran sites, and they don't ever plan on stopping. I'm Kevin Zepay in Millsboro, Coast TV News.
Coastal Connections is sponsored by Baths by Spicer Brothers.
As I get older, I was getting a little off balance. Got the recommendations for Baths by Spicer Brothers. I love my shower. It's perfect for me. My favorite part was probably how quick and easy it was. They came in the morning and they were done by afternoon. I definitely wanted the grab bars. They also put the seat in, which was very nice. The wand is good, especially if you're sitting. So much safer to get in and out of now. It seems like my showers are quicker that way. So it's perfect.
There are trucks, and then there's the GMC Sierra, available with the connected driving experience and the world's first 6-function multi-pro tailgate. GMC Sierra. It's the truck. Get 0% APR on 2024 Sierra 1500 Denali models. That's over $6,400 in average finance savings. We are professional grade GMC.
At Coast TV, our promise is to guide, inform, and protect. Coast TV First Alert Weather. Your safety, our commitment.
On Coast Life, it's Fitness Friday. Get inspired with easy workouts you can do at home. Plus, meet our adorable pet of the week, and we're taste testing the latest trend, Coca-Cola and Oreos. Tomorrow at 4 on Coast TV.
Get up to $15,000 off during Jeep Adventure Days at McGee Motors. Not just any Jeep, the legendary Wrangler 4x is now up to $15,000 off. Or drive a Jeep Compass Limited now just $239 a month.
Hold on, y'all. It's also Ram Power Days with up to $12,000 off Ram 1500s.
Or get the new 2025 Bighorn for just $369 a month.
Only doing Ram Power Days
and Jeep Adventure Days
at McGee Motors in Georgetown, a family tradition since 1948.
Download the Coast TV News app on your Apple or Android devices.
We are indeed still keeping a very close eye on very gusty winds off the coast, and we have the threat of flooding that's going to stay extended into the end of the week, going into your weekend. So a lot to still a lot on our plate, so to speak. And I want to just update you on the latest watches and warnings that are right now active for our region. Our Bay Health camera in Milford, 70 degrees with the winds now shifting directions out of the southeast at about 2 miles per hour. Temperatures are going to settle into the mid-60s with mostly clear skies. Temperatures right now, we're at 68 in Lewis at this present time, 71 in Rehoboth as well as Millsboro, 68 degrees in Georgetown, and 65 right now in Delmar. So it's a mild, cool night. But remember I was referring to all the different watches and warnings? Well, here's that slate. I'm so ready. Take a deep breath because here we go. First, coastal flood watch in effect for all of Sussex. Now that stays in effect until Sunday, meaning we're watching out for the possibility of about a foot of flooding in some low-lying areas that's close to the water, whether it's inland or along the coast. Now we have another coastal flood advisory for Dorchester, Somerset, and Wacomico. Basically the rest of the Delmarva Peninsula. That stays in effect until at least Saturday. We're looking for inundation or possible flooding about 1 to 2 feet from Nanticoke, from Inverness, all the way to other areas that like Pittsfield, anywhere that's close to any water. And we're also concerned about that over towards Ocean City, where we have the flood advisory active, and that includes all of Worcester County until 2 o'clock in the morning for Saturday. This concern for flooding reaches all the way down towards Chincoteague. So it is also inclusive of Accomack and Northampton. Once again, it's not saying that flooding's happening, but with the high tides and with the push of the water, especially with the small craft advisory and the gusty winds along the coast, we could see that water just get pushed or nudged onto shore, causing that flooding right on the edges. Our boardwalk forecast, winds are pushing out of the north, temperatures will be in the 70s, and we're going to see a little more in the way of sunshine for tomorrow. Now, what about the possibility of precipitation? We'll have a 24% chance of precipitation by Sunday, but we have to skip all the way over to Tuesday before we get a decent chance of rain, about a 32% chance of rain to resurrect its head again. But for the next couple of days, initially, we're looking pretty clear, pretty nice. Mixture of clouds and sunshine by the afternoon, mid-70s, okay? Then Friday, later in the evening, we drop down to the upper 60s to low 70s. Saturday, we're in the 60s, clicking over to the 70s pretty dramatically, but lots of sunshine for Saturday as well. Saturday and Sunday, looking pretty good, actually. For example, we go up the beach. Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, we may see a little rain in Chincoteague on Sunday, but that's the outlier. That's the oddball, along with Assateague down in that area. But we are looking for it to stay dry in Ocean City and Fenwick Island for the next 3 days, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. And we anticipate a mixture of clouds and sunshine for Rehoboth Beach as well as Lewis Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. By the way, be sure you join me for the Walk for Prostate Cancer race at Cape Henlopen Park on September the 29th. Pre-registration at 8 o'clock. It's a walk, awareness walk at 10 o'clock. I'm a prostate cancer survivor myself, so helping to sponsor that walk. And I understand how you feel about rain for your event because there's a chance of rain for mine, believe it or not. Here's a look at your Paul Davis Restoration extended forecast.
Thank you, Paul. You got to do something about that rain on your own event, Paul.
I know, right?
In your health news today, the United States ranks last when it comes to key health care measures compared with other high-income nations around the world. According to a new report, Americans are sicker, have lower life expectancies, and struggle to afford essential health care. Researchers compared the U.S. to 9 other high-income countries. That included Australia and the U.K. The U.S. had the highest rates of excess deaths related to the COVID-19 pandemic for people younger than 75.
New at 11 on Thursday, the cargo ship that caused the deadly collapse of Baltimore's Francis Scott Key Bridge left Norfolk, Virginia, bound for China. The container ship, known as the Dali, had been undergoing repairs since June at the Port of Virginia's International Terminal. The bridge collapsed in March after the Dali had a power failure and hit a support column. 6 workers who were fixing potholes on the bridge were killed. The Justice Department filed a lawsuit against the 2 companies that owned and operated the ship, the DOJ, seeking more than $100 million from Grace Ocean Private Limited and Synergy Marine Private Limited.
Coming up in sports, an overtime thriller in field hockey between Milford and Lake Forest. We have highlights.
And next, Elon Musk pushing fake news. The Twitter owner has repeated and shared false stories to his millions of followers on the social media app.
And we're still going to be continuously watching out for decent weather for us, pushing throughout our area. Don't forget our walk. I'm trying to change the forecast for my walk. It just ain't working.
CoastTV First Alert Weather. Your safety, our commitment.
There's DNA. Then there's heavy-duty DNA. HDNA. It's engineered into every aspect of the GMC Sierra HD. With the pulling power to prove it. Tow hitches of the world, prepare for glory. Get 5.9% APR for 84 months on Sierra heavy-duty Denali models. That's over $5,300 in average finance savings.
The American black duck is an iconic species, well known throughout the Delmarva Peninsula. Although the population is currently stable, they're well below their population goals and they're considered a species of concern. The USDA Natural Resources Conservation Service looks to increase and restore black duck habitat throughout the Delmarva Peninsula.
I utilize the Working Lands for Wildlife program to help transform a low-lying wet area into waterfowl habitat.
To learn more about the Working Lands for Wildlife program, contact your local USDA Service Center.
A legacy is earned with generations of proven reliability, standing tall through the test of time, leading, innovating to build the best vehicles with the best value. Because the greatest memories begin with the journey.
This is my legacy.
Toyota, let's go places.
Welcome to Beach Barrels. No matter where you're from, everyone is a local. Fun times and good vibes await with a wide variety of craft brews, plus our award-winning Primo Hoagies made fresh daily. Dance the night away at the best live music venue in Ocean City. And there's never a bad seat to catch your favorite sports team. Dine in or relax on our outside deck with comfortable seating and beautiful palm trees for a cozy, tropical atmosphere. Beach Barrels open 10 a.m. to 2 a.m. at 132nd and Coastal Highway.
Join us for the Kickoff to Savings sales event going on right now at Preston Ford. Get $12,000 in savings off MSRP on select 2023 Ford F-150s. Save $9,000 off MSRP on a new 2023 Ford Bronco Badlands. These are just some of the deals. Explore our huge inventory online at PrestonFord.com. With over 1,000 new and pre-owned vehicles on the lot, we're sure to have the perfect vehicle for you. Preston Ford, located at the corner of Route 318 and 331. Remember, cars cost less in Preston.
Elon Musk is being accused of using his social media platform to promote misinformation about the presidential candidates.
The post came in the wake of an alleged second assassination attempt of former President Trump, after which Musk wrote in a now deleted tweet that, quote, "No one is even trying to assassinate Biden, Kamala," unquote. Musk later claimed it was meant as a joke.
During the same weekend, however, Musk joined a chorus of conspiracy-minded Twitter users circulating a hoax affidavit from an alleged whistleblower that claimed the ABC News debate was rigged to help Vice President Harris.
ABC has since confirmed the typo-ridden document was also fake. Then on Wednesday, Musk reshared a bogus claim that a bomb had been discovered near the site of a planned Trump rally in Long Island. Police confirmed that information was unfounded.
Musk is also continuing to amplify false rumors of immigrants eating pets in Ohio.
Since acquiring Twitter in 2022, Musk has gutted the company's moderation teams and altered policies, allowing misinformation and hate speech to spread on the platform.
Well, whether it's a talk about drugs, sex, or mental health, having difficult conversations with preteens and teens, it's not easy. In today's Health Minute, Mandy Gaither has some ideas on how to get teens to open up about tough topics.
We're all busy and have to contend with modern-day technologies, but staying connected with children is one of the best things a parent can do.
I have 3 teenage girls, and it is the best part of my life. But I also know how hard it can be sometimes to get kids to talk about their feelings.
A recent CDC survey found nearly 77% of parents believe their teens always have the social and emotional support they need, but only 28% of teens agreed with that.
Close emotional relationships between parents and teens are associated with all kinds of long-term benefits: improved mental and general health, less dangerous behavior like substance abuse.
Dr. Sanjay Gupta says there are prompts to help get preteens and teens to open up.
Maybe ask teens for their internal weather report or what weather pattern best reflects how they feel at the time. You can also ask them what song or movie describes their mood. Maybe ask about the high and low points of their day.
When connecting with teens, the CDC says to also engage in active listening. Find out more about what they like and why, and be the person they trust and want to come to when they need an adult.
The goal here is to build a safe and supportive space where people can be vulnerable. So do respect any boundaries and be patient.
For Health Minute, I'm Mandy Gaither.
The CDC says if you have concerns about your child's emotional well-being, their behavior, or overall mental health, be sure to reach out to a healthcare provider.
Delmarva Sports Network from the Wawa Studios.
Field hockey took over the peninsula tonight, but one game truly stood out above the others. Lake Forest and Milford field hockey went back and forth all night long, and by the end, it was a battle of willpower. We start in the third quarter, no score, corner chance for Milford. Initially not much going on, but for Hannah Zimmerman, it was all a part of the plan. She weaves in front and scores the game's opening goal, a huge play for the senior, and Milford leads 1-0. But later in the quarter, now it's a late corner. They let this one go beyond the circle. That draws out the Milford Flyers. Mia Cristaldi flips it towards the cage. There's a scrum at the goal line, and the Buccaneers commit a foul to stop the ball from going in. That means we have a penalty stroke. So now it's Bryn String, a chance to tie. She clangs it in off the back corner for the goal. She ties the game 1-1 and gets a well-deserved celebration at the end of it. Into the fourth, same score, another corner for Lake, trying to break the tie. The pass finds its way to String. Her shot is stopped in front. It trickles out of bounds. This one's heading to overtime. in OT. Milford moving. Bailey Maston drives, kicks in front to Isabel Betts, who calls game. What a win for Milford. A 2-1 overtime victory on the road over Lake Forest. This marks the 5th straight win for Milford after starting the season 0-1. That'll do it for sports. Have a great night, everyone.
Week 3 of the NFL season, and we look ahead to Sunday Night Football. The Atlanta Falcons, fresh off a win over the Eagles, take on the Kansas City Chiefs. Coverage is going to be here on Coast TV starting at 7. And coming up next, 2 moons? We'll tell you what in the Neil deGrasse Tyson is going on here when Coast TV News returns.
The UV Index Weather Report is sponsored by Ocean City Tourism, somewhere to smile about.
Welcome to First State Chevrolet, your commercial truck headquarters on Route 113 in Georgetown. We carry the full lineup of Chevrolet medium-duty trucks and low-cab forward models. Our sales staff is professional and ready to earn your business.
Save up to $19,000 on this 2024 low-cab forward dump body.
Save up to $14,000 on this 2023 medium-duty dump.
Stop in or find us on the web at firststatechevy.com.
We are First State Chevy in Georgetown, where we put you, the customer, first. Together, let's drive.
In 1925, a simple bank ledger began journaling the transactions of life in Willards, Maryland. New houses, barns, and farm equipment. Growing families and businesses both big and small. A record through time of hardship and prosperity. 100 years ago, the founding of the Farmers Bank of Willards was vital to the town. 100 years later, banking has changed, but the Farmers Bank remains steadfast in its original mission, keeping and reinvesting millions of dollars right here for the benefit of our communities.
Your Ford dealer presents America's all-time best-selling SUV, Ford Explorer. The intelligent Ford Expedition. The fun, fuel-efficient Ford Escape. Want more? Visit your local Ford dealer. Now get Ford Explorer or Expedition for as low as 2.9% financing plus up to $2,500 cash back.
Rural communities are on the front lines of a changing climate. Farmers can implement climate-smart practices that improve soil health, nutrient management, and energy efficiency. These practices improve our profitability, resiliency, and help to open new markets.
We know voluntary conservation works and are committed to working with farmers and forest landowners to leverage resources to increase climate resiliency through conservation practices. To learn more about climate-smart practices, scan this QR code to find your local USDA service center.
Coastal Comfort knows there's no place like home. It's where we can be totally comfortable being ourselves, making a mess, making improvements, making strides, making memories with those we love, totally. Big or small, at the beach, or on the farm, all along the Eastern Shore. It's home, and Coastal Comfort is always here to keep you totally comfortable. Coastal Comfort, a Carrier Factory authorized dealer serving Maryland and Delaware. Carrier, turn to the experts.
Here's a sentence I didn't expect to read today. The moon will soon be getting a friend, temporarily. According to a new study, a tiny asteroid will begin to orbit Earth starting September 29th and will essentially act as a mini-moon. It's been given the name 2024 PT5. Doesn't really roll off the tongue. However, it will be only around until about November 25th before it then returns to an asteroid belt that's revolving around the sun. It's relatively small, and unfortunately, you won't be able to see it with just the naked eye.
But I have a perfect name for it. I want to call it Here's Johnny. Okay, anyway, Christina won't know that because I was way before she's too young. Okay, so our tidal held camera in Salisbury, 65 degrees right now. Winds are out of the north, staying calm. Clear skies at 2 o'clock in the morning, 3 o'clock as well. Coastal flood watch is in effect, but we also have a newly issued small craft advisory, so it's going to stay breezy on the beach until Saturday evening. We also have concerns with the possibility of flooding at Salisbury, Nanticoke, Westover, Snow Hill, as well as Ocean Pines, Ocean City specifically. We have our 5-day UV index number. It's going to stay at the 7 level for the next couple of days, so we'll see a little more sunshine. Our umbrella giveaway winner is Brian Jackson of Lewis. Congratulations. Keep up with your forecast with our weather line. It's sponsored by the law offices of Baird, Mandalas, Brockstead, and Federico. And finally, here's a look at your Paul Davis Restoration Home Remodeling exclusive 10-day forecast.
Thanks for joining us here for Coast TV News at 11.
For more news and local weather, download our Coast TV News app.
The Tonight Show starring Jimmy Fallon, that's coming up next.
Join us tomorrow for Coast TV News at 5 a.m. Have a great night.